Hello again. Thanks for watching. Um, let's continue our discussion of Redux. Okay, so we're working on our product list and we're working on adding a shopping cart, right? Let's make our shopping cart a little more clear, like what's going on with it. So I'm going to go to the shopping cart component here. So I'm in shopping cart JS, right? So this is our shopping cart component. And maybe at the top here, I'll add a heading, right? So let's call this H2 shopping cart, right? So, so this way we can see where the cart is on our page, right? Okay. Let's do a little bit of cleanup here. So I'm realizing I have these warnings because I didn't use the key prop. Let's fix that, right? So essentially, anytime you have a list, React wants you to identify each item in the list with a key prop. So the key prop should always be the same for the same item, okay? And keys should be unique for the entire list, okay? So no element in the list can have the same name. You can use anything for a key. It can be an ID, it can be a number, it can be like, a name, as long as those values are unique, okay? And the reason we have the key is because the virtual DOM is looking at which items should change. And in a list, if the list changes, like the number of items that are there, it's not sure which ones have changed. But if everybody has a unique identifier, then it can look at those identifiers and say like, oh, okay, this one is missing, or this one has changed, right? Or this one with the same identifier has not changed, right? So basically the key is part of the virtual DOM, right? Okay, so let's go through a couple things. So I'm going to go to my category list, and right here you can see I have a list of buttons, and every button has a name, but it doesn't have a unique identifier. This is the list here, right? These are the category buttons, and every category name is unique. So I can use that as a key prop. So on the button right here, I'm going to include let's see here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put key, and I'm going to use, let's just use the name. Since all the names are unique, then that should hopefully clear that up, right? Let me refresh this, right? So where is this one? Oh, so this is in category list. I feel like I got, oh, because I put names. That's got to be name, right? Okay, cool. So so hopefully that'll fix up the category list there. And now in the shopping cart, we have to have unique names too. So let's go to our shopping cart here, and every one of these items every one of these p tags up here has to have a key prop. So let's give it a key prop, right? Maybe I'll put this in parentheses, and the item is the index. Actually, maybe we don't need that. Let's just use the item name and the name of the product. So I'll put key here, and we can use a template string and use the index dash name maybe. Well, actually, maybe this will just work like this. Let's just call this, like item and number, okay? I think actually that would just be fine like that, right? Let's see here. Oh, we got to go to the product list now. So we got rid of those two errors. Now all these things are in a list, and so they need to have a unique value too. So let's go to our product list and add a key here. Right, so I've got my list of items there, and then this is the product. So let's put a key prop in here. Maybe I'll put it after this, right? So I'll say key, and now we have to come up with a unique value here. So why don't we say, how about template string, and I'm gonna take the ID of the product. So every object here has an ID, so I'll say object dash, dot ID. and then I'll put a dash and then product at the end, right? So let's see here. Oh great, so all those warnings are gone, right? So that's working pretty good. Now let's get back to our Redux stuff, right? So sorry, that was a little digression there, but sometimes it pays to go back and clean some things up, right? And I probably should have done that originally. Okay, so now we've got Redux working, and I can see my shopping cart can list things. But what I want to do is I want to add a button here on each product that says add to cart. So if I click on this, it's going to add a ZooLab to the cart. Okay, or if I click on lot string, it's going to add a lot string to the cart. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So the idea here is clicking the add to cart button is going to send an action, right? And that action is going to go through our reducer, and our reducer is going to use the action to modify state. And when state changes, then our components will update and display the new state, okay? So let's go find our product component. So I used this product component to display each of those products here in the list, right? So each one of these, areas right here is one of these components, right? It has an H2 for the heading, a paragraph with the description, a paragraph for the price, and then a small tag for the category and the rating at the bottom here. Okay, so at the top of this component, I am going to import from React Redux, right? So remember, React Redux is the glue, and they give us a hook, so it always begins with use, and there's a hook called use dispatch. Okay, so we send a message to our Redux store through the dispatcher. Okay, so dispatcher sends the message. Okay, and the dispatcher actually sends an action, like I said message, but really it's an action that comes from our actions folder. So remember, in the actions folder up here at the top, I have an action called add to cart, and really this function right here produces an object, and this is the real action, right? So this is the add to cart action here. It has type add to cart. So what we want to do is we want to get this action creator function and dispatch one of these actions to our Redux store, right? So let's do that. I'm going to go back to product, and I'm going to import from /actions. I'm going to get my actions file, right? This is without anything on the end, it's going to get the index, right? And then in here, I'm going to get the lowercase add to cart action. So I want the function, right? So I got use dispatch, and I have my function, okay? So the next step is inside the component function, we're going, and remember, hooks always have to be used inside the component function, right? You can't use them outside. So inside here, I'm going to say dispatch equals use dispatch. Okay, so you just call use dispatch, and it gives you a reference to the dispatcher. Okay, and if you want to send an action to the dispatcher, what you'll do is you'll call dispatch with the action. Okay, so watch how we do that. I'm going to go to the bottom of my component here, and I'm going to add a button called, add to cart. Okay, and then the click function for this button. So inside the opening tag here, I'll add on click, and I'll set it equal to let's do this. I'm going to write the like kind of an empty function in there, and then say dispatch parentheses, and what I want to do is call add to cart action like this, right? Now the add to cart action needs the index of the item that you're adding to the cart. So I'll put a 0 in there for now. So we'll have to get that index and make sure that it's the correct one, right? So I'm going to put a 0 in there. So every add to cart button is always going to add product 0 to the cart for the moment, okay? But let's give that a test. So we've got this kind of connected here, dispatch, add to cart, and then say the index of the product that we want to add, right? So, you can see here I've got lot string, fin tone, and rank. And if I click add to cart, it's going to add ZooLab to the cart, right? And if I click this one, fin tone, it's going to add another Zulab to the cart. Okay? Right? I have a problem because I use the index here and it sees two items with the same index. So we'll fix that too in a moment, right? But this is working, right? So our one problem though is we need to make sure that this index matches the index of each product, right? So we should pass that in to the product component as a prop, right? So let's add that to our product list. So I'm going to go to the product list that generates a list of these products, right? I'm going to go into product list, and right now I've got my object here, I've got the key, and maybe I'll add a new property here called index. And actually, you know what I should use is I should use the ID. We should be using the ID, right? So let's do that. I'm going to fix this, right? Let's use the ID, right? So I'm going to say, actually, you know, I guess if we're going to use the ID, we already have it, right? Because object here, if I deconstruct it, this comes with the ID. So actually, we've already got it. So let's go get our ID here, right? Now, the one problem is that IDs actually don't line up with the index. I kind of wish they did. It would have made the whole thing a little bit easier. But they're actually just off by one. So we'll just cheat and make that work. So I'm going to pass... what do I got here? I got name, description, price, category, rating. Actually, let's also get the ID here, and then we can use the ID over here, right? So again, our IDs are going to be off by one, but let's give it a try here, right? So if I click on this guy, it's going to add a lot string to my cart. If I click on this guy, it's going to add a fin tone, right? And the reason for that is the way that this JSON is set up, right? If I look at the JSON, you can see every product has an ID, but it starts on 1, where this is index 0, right? So don't worry about it. So if you got this far and you have everything added to the cart, there's still a few more things we want to do. So if you got this far, you're doing great, right? So and we'll solve the other problem in the next video, right? Because this video is getting pretty long. So thanks for watching. My challenge to you though is to give this a try, right? You can try and fix the ID problem on your own. Second challenge is that right now, if I add multiple items to the cart, you can see the item appears twice, but really what it should print is it should print fin tone quantity 2, right? Or since I have 2 lot string here, it should be fin tone or lot string quantity 2 and just show lot string once, right? Here's another challenge, right? So in the shopping cart, we just show the name of the item. It should really say name of the item, price of the item, times the quantity, and then show the total cost, right? So for right now, maybe as an easy challenge, just try and show the name and the price, and then for a step up from there, show the name, the price, and the quantity, and then don't show duplicates, right? So try those challenges on your own, and then we'll solve those in the next video, okay? So thanks for watching.